Okay. Are we all set? Perfect. Perfect. So I think we are going to be posting this. So I'll wait for a few users to join in and then we can begin. So let me give some time for some of you to join in. Woohoo. Hmm. So, guys, we're doing this for the very first time. So, if we make some mistakes, I hope you guys would forgive us for. Okay, my team says that we are live. Just gonna give some more time to the people to join in, and then we'll begin. Hmm. And for those of you who are joining in, how about you give some introduction about where you're from and what do you expect to achieve from today's live consultation with me so that I can have an idea about what you guys are looking for. So just write it down. Where are you guys from and what are you looking to achieve from this live consultation so that I have a bit of an idea about how to help you guys to the best of my capabilities. So I'll give you guys few minutes and then we'll just begin. Mm. So remember, guys, our topic for today is healing anxious attachment style. So I'm going to be focusing a lot on uh, anxious attachment style, and we're going to dive deep into what are some of the symptoms of anxious attachment style, what are the problems that people who have anxious attachment style face, and how can we find a way uh, where we can effectively heal ourselves and help us attract the relationship that we truly desire. Someone said hi. Hi there, buddy. How are you? Could you please like introduce yourself and what do you hope to achieve from this session so that I can have some objectives? I'll write it down so that I'm able to address to your needs and make sure that everyone leaves this live consultation satisfied with the fact that I answered your questions. Hi from Bangladesh. Hi there, buddy. So, what do you hope to achieve from this session? Tell me, what do you expect? What will make you happy? Okay, okay, mhm. Okay. So, I resemble your brother. Well, that creates a bit of a resonance between us. So, I hope I would be able to help you out. Subconsciously, I think resonance is good. It adds a layer to information being exchanged between the two subconscious minds. So, all right, so let's just get started. And I think people as they join in, they can ask the questions, and we can start interacting with people. So first of all, let's start with something very important, that is anxious attachment style. A lot of the time, in my experience, and before I even begin addressing this whole thing, let me just tell you guys something. Whatever I'm about to say, if it resonates with you, perfect. Take whatever resonates with you. And if anything doesn't resonate with you, just discard that. And if nothing resonates with you, find someone with whom you can resonate, because the end goal is we all want to live a happy life. Duigu joined the chat and she said, Hi. Hi, Duigu. How are you? Where are you from, Duigu? I actually know Duigu, so it's good to have you here, Duigu. Now, uh, first of all, a lot of the things, I think, let's start with, I wouldn't go into describing what anxious attachment style is. I think a lot of you understand what anxious attachment style is. I think let's start with the fact that where people go wrong. Uh, I think a lot of the people, when they're trying to heal anxious attachment style, their approach is to go for healing anxious attachment style in itself. Like they take anxious attachment style as the problem, and they start healing that. And that's where I think a lot of the healing doesn't work out, is because of that. I think anxious attachment style has certain layers, and anxious attachment style in itself is what I think is a symptom. So if I am approaching someone who has anxious attachment style, I try to decode where did this anxious attachment style originate from. My approach has always been like that I like to decode. So at the top of the pyramid, we have so at the top of the pyramid, we have anxious attachment style. Let's go a layer down. What happens as a result of anxious attachment style? What are some of the symptoms that people who have anxious attachment style exhibit? Now, you see, someone like me who had anxious attachment style before, um, I can tell you there's a lot of fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being good enough, fear of, lack of self-worth, feeling like your partner is not going to value you. And as a result of all of this, what actually happens is we often experience a version of relationship where if our partner didn't text us at time, maybe they were busy with something, we get anxious. I mean, our daily life with anxious attachment style is like we wake up with the mindset that if I do not perform today in my relationship, my worst fears, which is fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, they are going to manifest and I might lose this person. And the funny thing about fear, what I try to explain to a lot of the people is a lot of the spiritual practices, when we're talking about law of attraction, law of assumption, law of vibration, each of them centers around belief. Whatever we believe in is what manifests into our life, right? Fear is the right opposite of belief. Now, in order for a belief to manifest, let's suppose belief is an information, and to make to make it manifest into our life, we need to back it up with a powerful emotion, such as I believe I am worthy of a good relationship. Now, this belief is a powerful belief, but it needs to be backed up by a very powerful emotion. Only then can it manifest into our reality. So our subconscious mind accepts information with powerful emotions, and that's how it manifests. But when you look at fear, on the other hand, fear is also a belief, and it is already backed by a very powerful emotion. Fear in itself is a very big emotion. It's a threat to you. So, this is one of the biggest reason people who have anxious attachment style often manifest their fear. So what happens? As a result of anxious attachment style, these kind of people experience relationship where they feel abandoned, ghosted, rejected compared to other people, and they are often felt feeling like they are not worthy enough. That's their fears manifesting. Anyone have any questions about that until I see the questions? Duygu is from Turkey. I love Turkey, and she's kind of special. Okay, so let let's go a bit deeper. Now you have these fears. Now you understand how fears manifest faster than our beliefs. Now, this is one of the biggest reason when people are trying to heal anxious attachment style, they often work on affirmations, subliminals, listening to different frequencies and, motivational videos and stuff to strengthen up their belief. However, their belief are getting powerful, but their fear is still dominating their belief. This is why the process is slow and oftentimes it fails for a lot of the people. Now, as an instant healing hypnotherapist, my approach has always been to dive deep into what is the root cause. So let's go a layer beneath fear. We are going to the bottom of the pyramid now. You see, every pattern having an anxious attachment style or anxious attachment style pattern, it's a pattern. Pattern means it keeps repeating again and again. So people who have anxious attachment style will keep manifesting relationships into their reality where the faces of the partners will keep changing, but the dynamics and the situations of the relationship will resemble one another. It will almost feel like all your partners from your past and who are going to appear in future, they have all combined together with an alliance to make you feel these emotions. And that is highly unlikely, right? That is highly unlikely. So that means when a pattern starts repeating itself, the best way to break a pattern is to understand how do our patterns develop. So let's go a bit deeper to understand when does our pattern take birth or when are they born. Now, to understand this, we need to understand something about our subconscious mind. You see, when we are born, we come into this world, we have no idea what life is, what's going around. We have no idea. So, between the ages of 1 to 9, these are the ages when our subconscious mind is developing. And during this phase, the very first relationship that we develop is with our parents. And that lays the foundation for our future relationships. Now, in between these ages, all our patterns are formed. Whichever pattern you have in your life right now, apart from anxious attachment style pattern, whatever pattern you have, if you have any kind of wealth blockage or if you have any kind of pattern, it will have its roots between the ages of 1 to 9. Now, what happens is for anxious attachment style to do, for anxious attachment style to develop, there needs to be certain dynamics. And I've done a lot of research on this to understand what are these dynamics. Now, for anxious attachment style to develop, our interaction with our parent, our emotional attachment with our parents between the ages of 1 to 9 plays one of the most important roles. And that role defines what kind of attachment style we are going to develop. Now, something very common between people who have anxious attachment style is between the ages of 1 to 9, they might have had a bad relationship, bad emotional relationship with either their father or their mother, but father is predominant. I mean, that is the key. So, what happens is each of our, each of our parents helps us develop certain traits inside our subconscious mind. A father helps the child develop, and it doesn't mean that our father has to teach us verbally, like, you need to have these traits in your life, you need to have these traits in your life. It's just that our emotional connection with our father, and this is evolutionary psychology, our emotional connection with our father helps us develop certain masculine traits. And these masculine traits are self esteem, self worth, self confidence, self respect, and sense of identity. Now, people who develop anxious attachment style, they probably have some kind of a father wound. And because of that father wound, all these five traits go in deficit and they build resonance or familiarity with the lacking of these five traits. Then these people also have a mother wound. Now, a mother also helps the child develop five traits. These five traits are empathy, expression of love, nurturing, spirituality, and these kind of aspects. Now, these traits are in excess in people who have anxious attachment style. I want you to observe people who have anxious attachment style might have a lot of spirituality inside of them, or creativity inside of them, or overly expressing their emotions. So, when you combine these two together, a father wound where all the traits are deficit and a mother wound where all the traits are excess, that becomes anxious attachment style. That means for the rest of your life, you will keep attracting partners who will make you feel lack of self esteem, lack of self worth, lack of self confidence, lack of self respect, and lack of sense of identity, because that's what you resonate with. And you will overly empathize with them. You will overly express your love to them. You will overly please them, nurture them. You will pray a lot for them. You will have a lot of, ways to express love towards them, creative ways, because all those traits are in excess. However, the end result would remain the same. Another layer is one of our parents might be avoidant. So, if one of your parent was avoidant in your childhood between the ages of 1 to 9, that will also play a role. Now, some people will say, hey, I had a great relationship with my father. How come I have anxious attachment style? And that's a very valid question. I'll tell you an amazing client story, which is very amazing for you guys to understand how fragile your subconscious mind is. This client came to me. She had an anxious attachment style and she was all about, like, I want to fix this. And we dive deep into her subconscious mind. And she was like, I had an amazing relationship with my father. So why am I facing this? I was like, there must be a father wound. You cannot have an anxious attachment style without a father wound. She kept saying about the mother part that yes, she didn't have a good bond with the mother, but with the father, it was amazing. It was perfect. So she joined my 15 days instant healing program. Day one, I take her into her subconscious mind to heal her father wound. And her subconscious mind reveals a moment. Now, this moment is going to sound so petty from where we stand. But I want you to imagine this from the perspective of someone who is just 6 year old. Now, her father took her shopping. They went to a mart, and when we go to a mart, we have a grocery list and we are just going around here and there picking up stuff. So, in between, her father lost track of her and she kind of got lost. Now, as she got lost and she had that realization that she's lost, that was the moment when her father wound developed. Her father did nothing wrong to her, but that one moment was so heavy on her subconscious mind. She was running here and there to find her father, chasing. Her subconscious mind developed the pattern of chasing the partners. And that's exactly the pattern that she had in her adult life relationships. And in that one moment, if you observe from the perspective of the child, she lost her self esteem, self worth, self confidence, self respect, and sense of identity. All these traits were lacking because she lost her father in that one moment. So we removed that. And the moment we removed that, her anxious attachment style was healed. Now, I want to let you guys know something very important over here. A lot of the time, people think they know what is the reason for their problem or why they are attracting certain kind of partners into their life. But to be honest with you guys, you actually don't. You consciously feel you know, But when we go inside our subconscious mind, it's a whole different story over there. Let me give you an example. Let's suppose if there is a leakage in your bedroom and there is water dripping from the ceiling and your room is getting flooded. And you are like, I know what is the reason why my room is getting flooded. I know it's because of the ceiling. There is water dripping from the ceiling. If you knew the problem, wouldn't you have fixed it by now? Ask yourself, if you knew what the problem was, or what is the point of origin for your problem, wouldn't you have fixed it by now? This is where I would like to inform you that your conscious mind is the least informed, the last to know, and the most stubborn to change. This is why, as an instant healing hypnotherapist, I don't deal with people's conscious mind. I deal with their subconscious mind, going inside their subconscious mind and trying to identify what was the point of origin. And usually, what people think is the point of origin, it is not. Because if it was, you would have fixed it long ago. So, to heal a father wound and a mother wound is required to free yourself from anxious attachment style. Up until now, anyone has any questions? If everyone is saying hello, everyone is being so nice. Hi guys, hi, how are you? And thanks for joining in. I know it's a small channel, few viewers, no issues. I'm still gonna show up. I might cry at night, or maybe I won't. You can't prove it. Okay, so now I have a session starting soon, so I'm just going to wrap it up really quick. So if you have any questions, just drop them off. I'm just going to give you guys something that you can work on starting from today. You see, as I explained to you, that if you have an anxious attachment style, probably the five traits that you have in deficit are associated with the father, which is self esteem, self worth, self confidence, self respect, and sense of identity. So, if you have them in deficit, you need to start increasing your resonance with having high self esteem, high self worth, high self confidence, high self respect, and sense of identity. The best way I can teach you to address that and heal that without taking anything is I want you to find activities. Ask yourself, what kind of activity can you get involved in that will boost your self confidence? Ask yourself, whatever activity comes to your mind, start indulging in those activities. So, what's going to happen is, let's suppose you go like, hey, playing football makes me feel more self confident about who I am. Start playing that. Why? Because as you start playing and as you start engaging in that activity, what happens is that lack of self confidence starts boosting up. Your subconscious mind starts boosting up that self confidence. The neurological state starts shifting. And with prolonged exposure and with prolonged engagement in such kind of activities, your subconscious mind will start building up um, yeah, it will start building up resonance with that neurological state. And it will start building up new neural pathways. And over a period of time, you're going to realize that your self confidence is now balanced. It's a long way. I know it's a very long way, but for each of the traits that you have in deficit inside of you, ask yourself what kind of activity you can do on a daily basis that can boost it up. Find that activity and start engaging with that activity on a daily basis. Now, for me, that is going to the gym. I go to the gym I have a boost in self esteem, self worth, self confidence, self respect, and sense of identity. And these traits were deficit inside of me. But ever since I healed myself, obviously, I healed myself first with instant healing hypnosis. But now I also have this practice in my daily life that keeps my father related traits balanced. So find something like that and start engaging in those activities, and that's going to really help you guys out. Now, number one is that. Number two, for those of you, let me just read if we have some question and take a sip of my coffee. Mm, okay, I can't read your name. Maybe I read it wrong. I detached suddenly caring for my crush after so much one-sided effort. Is it good sign or not? I think the question is it good or not? I think it's good. It's let's not take it as a sign. It's good that you detach because it's not healthy. But the next step is to do exactly what what I just explained. Find activities that can boost the traits that are in deficit inside of you. Would that be would that be like dopamine? Yes. Find activities. And for those of you who are going through a heartbreak, I know a lot of us have been through the worst kind of nightmares when we go through breakup. People who have anxious attachment style usually go through the worst phase of their life when they go through breakup. Been there, done that. I have something for you guys before we wrap up. In the description, there is a link to my free program, my free course. In this free course, it's all about instant heartbreak healing mastery course. It's just a 90 minutes course. And in this 90 minutes, I'm going to explain to you the fundamentals of your subconscious mind and how to heal a heartbreak. I want you to first of all move on from this toxic relationship and then take the next step towards healing your entire neurological state, your predominant neurological state, healing your entire attachment pattern. But the first step is move on from the person who's ruining your life. So that course will help you just move on from your partner, your toxic partner, in less than 2 to 3 minutes. And in 90 minutes, I'm going to teach you how it works, but it works in 2 to 3 minutes. There's also hypnosis in that course. So do try it out. And I am getting late for my session with the client. So if I have one last question, I'll just take one last question. Mm, I think we're done. My team says there are no more questions. Are there any questions? Okay. So it was lovely meeting you guys. This is the first time we have done live. So if I did any kind of mistake, if I can further improve it, do leave a comment, do leave your feedback. It would help me improve. We'll try to do this more frequently and more effectively and come up with more topics that can help you, that can help you interact with me, share your problems, and I can share my expertise on how you can resolve them. All right, guys. So have a lovely day. Have an amazing day. And remember, healing is a journey. So keep going strong on this journey. Do not give up. Make sure you understand something, that is, your subconscious mind is extremely powerful. You have no idea the capabilities of your subconscious mind are immense. It can manifest the impossible. So it's all about you discovering how powerful you really are. So keep doing that. And I wish you all the best. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care then. Bye bye.